Of my kind of best or most useful reports from Google Analytics to answer those kind of questions. Just a quick kind of fun fact or fun tip. So I've got an identical twin brother called Steve. That's him from his wedding. I recently got married as well. But the fun fact is he's a tennis coach rather than a digital analyst. He doesn't know anything about digital analytics, but he's great with bounce rate. So there you go. I'm still trying to teach him and turn him into my clone, but still kind of work in progress. I've done lots of kind of talks and involved in this kind of area for too long, basically. So if you've got any questions at the end, please try and ask me a question that I don't know. I'll challenge you that. If you do ask something that I don't know, I'll buy you a drink afterwards. Those are brands I've worked on over the years. And with this particular session, it actually says on here, write down bookmarks, but the bookmarks is just that link at the front. So it's kind of, this one's a little bit designed as a sort of workshop session, but we'll walk through it with demos so you can kind of see what you get at the end. And not everyone's got kind of laptops here, so we'll kind of walk through it with visual examples. But like tomorrow, you could take the same set of slides and use it to build an insight report for your clients or your site. So, the aim of this particular presentation, how do you save money or make money using Google Analytics? So that's going to focus on 3 areas. It's either going to be reducing the amount you'll spend on marketing media, like AdWords or display, but not reducing the number of conversions or not reducing revenue. Or it's going to be increasing your revenue, so making more money from what you're currently getting, or improving your conversion rate, etc. Or it's going to be automating or improving the above 2. So that's the aim of this particular presentation. It's kind of like the obvious thing that you want to do as analysts is, make more money and spend less to be able to achieve it, and then automate it to do it faster, quicker, better. So a really quick one. This is actually not a Google Analytics kind of thing, but it's an AdWords thing, so it does relate to kind of cost. This is a tool by a company called WordStream, and it automatically analyzes an AdWords account. The great thing about it is it gives you this metric down here where it says wasted spend. So this example here, it says £30,000 wasted over 12 months on AdWords. That's like, ouch. The problem with this tool though is they want access to your AdWords data, and if it's a banking website or you may not necessarily want to grant them access to your data. So the link here is actually the Excel version of their tool. So this is really handy for like analysis of an AdWords account. They basically built the Excel version before they built the online version. So it means that you don't have to grant them access to your AdWords account to get access to things like account level quality score, or to kind of infer wasted spend. The wasted spend is calculated by the number of changes within an AdWords account and where it thinks it should be. So it'd be interesting to see what number pops up within here. Another kind of obvious one, so the amount of conversions you're going to get and the amount of revenue and money you're going to make is correlated with the speed that the site loads in, i.e. the faster it loads, the more money you're going to make, the more conversions you're going to get, because customers are impatient. So on here you can see, speed versus conversions. Unsurprisingly, faster is better. So in summary, if you went to this URL and searched for Google Site Speed Tool and entered your home page or a highly trafficked page, and here the tool would actually say how quick it is and also some links to mini versions of images to speed up loading on the site. So this is a really quick way of finding problems and speeding up things, which would improve revenue. Another really quick one, this is an SEO kind of one, but you see the little red numbers on the right hand side where it says W3C, compliance, spelling, images, etc. So this one's called Nibbler. It only tests 5 pages, but it's really good for a quick sanity check, as in, could I get more traffic without spending more? And it's just quick kind of litmus test, really handy. Is it good? What could be improved? What's broken? What's fixed? Sort of thing. Another really good one, if you're thinking of paying for a session recording tool, don't. There's loads of free ones out there that are really good. Yandex Measure is awesome. It's like the Russian version of Google Analytics. So there's a link to the kind of demo version of it there. it's free. It actually says 1,000 sessions recorded per day, but it's like a ridiculous number. It's something like 100,000 free sessions. It's like bonkers, and it's totally free. So again, you're saving money, as in you're not paying for a session recording tool, so that's a good thing. And this one does interaction rate and heat maps and loads of other cool stuff. So this is the meat of the presentation. So these are going to go through these 10 reports. Now, as I said, this would normally form the basis of an insight or audit document where you would take these 10 reports and 10 bookmarks, stitch them all together to build, in effect, a Word audit for your customer or your client. So the way this works is that bit.ly link goes to a text file. It's just a Dropbox page. If you click the download button on Dropbox and just save that text file either on your desktop or wherever you want to save it, if you open that text file, it's got the word, you'll say the word replace me with a Google Analytics account ID in it, and then there's a long, and then you need to replace that with your own Google Analytics account ID. So this is not the UA ID. So it's not UA-12345 whatever. It's actually the ID that you'll see in the URL when you visit a Google Analytics report. So it's a really long kind of number like this. The great thing about that is it means you can jump to 10 bookmarks like instantly by just changing the URL-based account ID. So basically open up that text file, replace the word replace me with your ID, and then you're going to have 10 bookmarks that you can check out later. Does that make sense? Sweet. If you've got a laptop, you can kind of try it and see, but because of the number of people using the internet here, it may or may not work. So by all means, try it tomorrow. So I'm going to give you an example of what the sort of thing you get from that link. This is a website called Computer Aid. It's a non-profit, and the goals of this website are quite simple. They want to either get more donations of PCs. So this is, for instance, if you've got an old laptop or an old PC and you want to kind of donate it to charity, or you're a school or a non-profit in South Africa and you need kind of computers for those kids to be able to learn. For Computer Aid, these two goals are actually worth the same amount. So this one happens to be worth £50, and the Apply for Computers is also worth £50 in terms of a goal value in Google Analytics. So, and a really quick question for the audience. How many of you are using Google Analytics on your site? Okay, I kind of expect almost everyone because it's an analytics conference. How many of you have got goals enabled on your site? Great. How many of you got goal values enabled for those goals? Okay. Part of this presentation is going to work best if you have goal values enabled. The reason for that, with Computer Aid, as an example, it's necessary to blend both the amount of money you're making from the two primary goals together, because then you're going to get a single metric which is going to tell you how well campaigns are performing and how well pages are performing. So if you haven't turned on goal values, you need to. So in this example, this is the first report. So this is best and worst landing pages. So here I've got, this is actually sorted via a magic button in Google Analytics, which is the weighted sort feature. The cool thing about this is instead of sorting via best and worst, because if you, for instance, go to the landing page report and sort via bounce rate, it then will show, it'll bubble up with 100% bounce, but it might be like one person that's bounced with 100%. What you actually want to know is show me everyone that's bounced and not had a good experience, but account for volume. So weighted sort does that, and it shows you that kind of thumbs up or thumbs down report for best and worst landing page. So in this example, Computer Aid had a Spanish landing page here, which had almost 90% bounce rate, rubbish in terms of performance. The reason it was underperforming was they were buying ads in English and they were landing on a Spanish written page. Like, no wonder people are bouncing. It's like, you know, their Spanish is, you know, good. I'm like, I don't read Spanish, so no wonder. On the flip side, there was also a page down here which was, let's say, kind of a guide page, which, actually this is sorted by worst. So if you clicked that again, it will show you the pages of best performance. If we do questions at the end, just because we're kind of short on time, also there's a 404 page down here, which unsurprisingly bad bounce rate experience. So that's landing pages, so those are pages that are not making computer-aided money, or there's traffic going to those that's kind of wasting spend. On the other metric that's really helpful, so with that kind of goal value metric, that's going to be blended into page value. So here, you've got this number here for £50, for instance, where someone has visited the thank you page, and they probably visited the page before it, the kind of the start to kind of donate to your computer, as well as the thank you for donating. So this visit might have had £50 divided by 2 pages, so £25 each. The great thing here, though, is that these pages at the top are all making computer-aided money. They're the kind of inquire page, the thank you page, unsurprisingly. So these are awesome pages. And if it was an e-commerce site, you'd see the checkout funnel kind of in these steps. So on the flip side, down here, these ones are not performing anywhere near as well. They're not generating virtual revenue for computer aid, and maybe a little bit of work kind of on these is needed. Now, it could be that if it's like a page that's like apply for jobs or volunteer for computer aid, it's not tied to one of their main goals. That may be a reason. Or if they don't have phone number tracking on a contact page, that could also explain it. But there's definitely less of this and more of that that's needed. So it's helpful to actually do this with your own kind of data to see what bubbles up and bubbles down in these reports. So along similar kind of lines, if it's an e-commerce website or a site where you have an internal site search, then you'd want to see where are people searching and then donating or making money, and on the flip side, where are they not? So here we've got someone searching for a toner cartridge, and Computer Aid actually recycled toner cartridges as well. So that kind of resulted in a donation of a toner. And as I mentioned kind of previously, there's one down here where someone searched for a volunteer job and they didn't kind of submit a computer or apply for a computer because it's a charity form with a different kind of objective. The one that's a bit odd on here though is someone searched for donate laptop or laptop in general and didn't do one of those 2 main actions. So this definitely needs to be improved. Either the result of someone searching for the word laptop needs to be optimized, or content needs to be added for that. The sample size on this is a little bit small, but you get the idea. So a similar sort of report, this is on number 4. So this is going to the report which shows traffic from people landing on broken pages. Now these are referral lands. So in this example we've got traffic coming from Wikipedia, where they've clicked on the link and then gone through to Computer Aid's website, but they've landed on a broken page. This page cannot be found. And the same with kind of Get Safe Online. So a reasonable volume of traffic where you've thrown up a big stop button. You said, you know, what you're looking for is not here. You've got in the way of the journey. You've made it harder for them to donate. So this is costing the company money in this instance. So these definitely want to be fixed. And also, there's an SEO benefit from having links on Wikipedia and Get Safe Online, etc. So it's definitely worth kind of fixing those, because you'd actually get more traffic if you got those links directly pointing to the most relevant pages on the site, etc. What might happen though is you might want to find out exactly where those pages are. So you can actually drill down into that further and go into the referral part. So with Get Safe Online or Wikipedia, it's actually that's the page you need to go to fix. Now sometimes it's a bit hard to kind of edit those pages. Wikipedia is probably the exception. So you may need to kind of add redirect links that look at the referral path and then point them to the most relevant kind of deep link page on the site. So this is a slightly different approach. This one is more on if you're trying to look at which traffic sources or channels are people using for discovering the site. This is the Medium report showing new and returning. It's a bit like multi-channel funnels, but kind of looking at it from like how they're discovering the site, which is the channel that's introducing, and also which is the channel that's closing. I'm just going to skip over the other one. This report I put in the text link. This is just a note. It uses a thing called motion charts, and the only time motion charts are ever of any value is if you're doing like a year-on-year comparison and you're showing three metrics like cost, conversions, and CPA, and using campaign. This can be helpful in that one scenario because it will show you where brand versus non-brand is performing at a very high level, and you'll see these kind of bubbles move around. I'd suggest opening that link in and see if it works. Sometimes it does use Flash, so you may or may not get that to work depending if Flash is blocked in the browser. Another good one, this is more, if you don't know where to look, intelligent alerts are awesome for like telling you, I was expecting it to be there and suddenly it's gone like that, or I was expecting it to be there and suddenly it's gone down. So it's like magic buttons, hidden gems, definitely worth checking out, see what's kind of bubbling up and bubbling down. You can also install the mobile version of that to see those intelligent alerts. And another good one in terms of taking action is it's helpful to get go to the report that will text you if your conversions from either e-commerce site suddenly stop working, or if you've got a big reduction in average order value. So it's like an action that you need to work on, otherwise you're not going to be making as much money. So here's another one in terms of the automation. So if you're not using the plugin for Google Sheets for automatically running reports, definitely do. It's super awesome and totally free as well. If you want to do kind of blending of data, you can do this either in Google Sheets or Data Studio, but this is a good kind of starting point. And also, in terms of a quick win, it's worth just checking out the Google Analytics dashboard library to say, has anyone built a report that does this already? So you can kind of use a picture that's pre-painted rather than start from a blank sheet. So here's an example of that. Some other really good dashboards that are worth checking out are in the Data Studio dashboard library. Some kind of awesome kind of Mona Lisas painted in there. And if you haven't already looked at those, definitely have a look at them. There's some great examples of data storytelling within that list. So to summarise, I would suggest using these free tools because they're free, and these will help you save money, definitely reduce the cost of tools. So you'll save on wasted spend on AdWords, you'll get some SEO tips from Nibbler, and you'll get some site improvements in terms of conversions and speed from the speed testing tool, you'll get better insight from Yandex, and you'll get these intelligent alerts using the Google Analytics app. So definitely use those ones. And if you want to kind of then summarize those reports and put them all together, these are the reports that I've just mentioned. So best and worst landing page by weighted bounce rate, pages by revenue contribution, best and worst internal site search, broken pages, and the AdWords report pivoted by sessions and conversion rate or CPA. So that's it. I'll probably get about, I can take a couple of questions now. This works best in a kind of a workshop environment where you can play with your own data to see what's kind of bubbling up and bubbling down. But go check out those links and see how you get on. And yeah, questions. There's a guy at the back that had a question.
Yeah, for the weighted reports, from your experience, don't you like to just put in a filter where you see pages which have at least 100 or 1,000 pages? Which do you like better?
Great question. So on pages where you have, so the weighted sort feature doesn't always work. It's only on certain metrics where you can use it. So landing pages and bounce rate, it does allow you to enable it. If it's another report, like say you want to do weighting for page value, then it won't let you see weighted sort for that. So thus you need to say, show me pages where there's been more than, I don't know, 100 unique page views or 100 sessions, and then sort by best or worst. So that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
I heard the Yandex figure was like slowing down your website when you were recording sessions.
Yeah, I mean it is asynchronous. I mean the version 1 of it I found is pretty good in terms of site speed. The version 2 is not quite cached as much across the internet, so it's a lot faster than Hotjar and some other tools in terms of when I've been comparing the two. So it's a case of like which one do you pick? I'd still go for Yandex in terms of site speed, You can adjust a sample rate. So in Google Tag Manager, you can use a random number, like 1 out of 10, for instance. So you could do client-side sampling. So you only account, so you do a client-side sampling number, drop a cookie, and if that client-side sample is present, then you deploy Yandex. Otherwise, you don't. So there are ways of conditionally loading it that would improve site speed. Go on.
On your last slide, you mentioned just the automation of dashboard library data studio automatic reporting. Can you just one two sentences about how you automate that and what you mean by it?
Whoops.
The last point, the very last point. On the slide with the automation. This one.
Okay.
Dashboard library data studio automatic reporting. What do you mean by that?
So these were a summary of the previous slides.
Yeah.
So when I say automatic insight, I mean the intelligent alerts. It's like something's bubbled. A custom alerts where you manually said, alert me if this happens under these conditions. Google Sheets in terms of physically setting up and emailing you, so automating and saving time. And the dashboard library by crowdsourcing other people's work, and again, saving time and saving cost. Okay, and as I said, the links for these slides will be available later. It'd be great to get feedback on them, and if there's anything I missed or you've got your own suggestions for the best reports to use, please let me know. All right, thank you very much.